Good morning, class. I hope you are all fine. My name is Bright, your facilitator for today. You are all welcome to science class. We are still in our first week, today being Wednesday, 30th September 2020, and it happens to be the last day in the month of September. Oh, we thank God for how far He has brought us. And I pray that the Lord will usher us into October with new hope and new aspirations. Welcome again. At our last lesson, we look at life processes of living things. And we look at the 7 life processes of living things. Do you remember? If you don't remember, I will suggest that you go back to the previous lesson, listen to the audio again, and take notes into your exercise books. Now, I have provided my contact on your screen, and I would like you to send me your concerns, and then all the assignments I'll be leaving here, I would like you to write it in your exercise book, take a picture of it, and then forward it to me. I will look at it and then I will assess it, actually mark it, and then forward it back to you. I wish you all the best. I would like you to jump in as we have today's lesson. But before that, what are life processes? So we said life processes are the series of actions that are important if a living thing is alive. So far as a living thing is alive, it should be able to exhibit these life processes. I hope you get that. And can you mention the 7 life processes? Alright, come with me and let's learn more. Mrs. Grain. Do you remember Mrs. Grain? From our last lesson, we learned that all living things demonstrate Mrs. Grain. We also learned that Mrs. Grain is an acronym we can use to remember the 7 life processes of living things. What does M stand for? R stands for, S stands for, G stands for. I would like you to pause and write this in your exercise book. Write what M stands for, what R stands for, what S stands for, what G stands for, what R stands for, what E stands for, and then N. I want to see if you are able to remember the 7 life processes of living things. Let's go now. If you are able to mention all 7 life processes without struggle, then I must congratulate you for your quick progress on this course. I wouldn't be surprised at all if you score 100% at the end of term exams. So, M stands for movement, R respiration, S sensitivity, G growth, R reproduction, E excretion, and N nutrition. I hope you got that. Good. You will agree with me that we have learned about movement, reproduction, and one more, I think growth, in our former class. So movement of animals. Movement, animals move in search of food, or perhaps flee from prey. When an animal wants to attack another animal, there will be movement. Reproduction. All living things reproduce their kind. So a cat will give birth to a cat. A dog will give birth to a dog. And then what about the trees? Yes, a mango tree will actually bear fruit to mango, and perhaps you will get another mango tree from a mango tree. So that is basically about that. And then growth. All living things exhibit growth, which are very common. There's no living thing that does not grow. All living things grow. So at this point, we will look into the sensitivity of some living things, such as birds, reptiles, insects, plants, and mammals. Ready? Please jump in. Let's investigate about the sensitivity of birds. Sensitivity of birds. When we say sensitivity, what do we mean? Sensitivity is simply the capacity of an organism or sense organ to respond to stimulation. The capacity of an organism or sense organ to respond to stimulation, that is irritability. When a friend tickles you, how do you feel? You begin to shake your waist like an ant dancing to Kwekwanance's magic drum and immediately follow up with laughter. Is that not so? What makes you to begin shaking? Every living thing has a stimuli that makes it to respond to situations around it. Take notice of this. Understanding bird senses. Birds depend on 5 senses for survival. They have the same senses as humans, which are sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. Let's mention them again. But this time, as I mention them, you touch your sense organs. When I mention the senses, touch your sense organs. So sight, your eye; hearing, your ear; smell, your nose; taste, your tongue; and touch, your body. However, these are specially made. All birds' senses share certain characteristics. So the first one we're going to look at is sight. Eyesight. Eyesight is a bird's most important sense and the one it relies on the most for flight, running away from predators, and finding food. Some species of birds, such as the hummingbird, can see ultraviolet rays of light. So I would like you to research on the eye of an owl. You know an owl? Have you seen it before? Perhaps on TV. Good. You see how big those eyes are? Yes. The owl has those eyes for a reason. What is the reason? I want you to search for it. The next is hearing. Hearing is a bird's second most important sense. Their ears are funnel shaped to focus sound. The ears are located slightly behind and below the eyes, and they are covered with soft feathers for protection. Birds have much more sharp sound recognition skills. Touch. Birds do not use touch as much as humans, but it is still an important sense, particularly for flight. Birds are so sensitive to changes in air temperature and wind speed, and those changes are transferred down the feathers and the skin. Taste. Birds have a sense of taste. Birds can taste sweet, sour, and bitter flavors. And which sense organ does birds use for tasting? The tongue. That is right. So the tongue is used by the birds to taste foods which are sweet, sour, and bitter. So the next is the smell. The sense of smell is the least developed sense for most birds. Most bird species have very small olfactory centers in their brains, and they do not use smell that much. Olfactory is the faculty that enables us to distinguish scents. Vultures and kiwis use their keen sense of smell to locate food sources. These birds can often smell food from great distances, even when the odor may not be smelled by humans. Class, all too soon we have come to the end of today's lesson. However, I would like you to take notice of the 5 sense organs of birds and listen to the audio over and over again. There's an activity on the next slide which I would like you to do. Take a picture and forward it to me. Thank you. My name is Sebright. Until then, see you again. Bye bye.